All right, guys, and now we're going to talk about email marketing really briefly in the next two lectures. Now, this is just going to be the overall, kind of concept here, because I think it's good to integrate with this method, because while you're collecting people on your pixel, and I'm going to run through this all here in a second, while you're collecting people here on your pixel, on your landing page or your website, you can also be collecting their emails, thus sending them through an email marketing funnel. And obviously, I have an entire course on email marketing. It's called The Complete Guide to Email Marketing. It's a phenomenal course that'll teach you, basically the overall method behind this and how to set this up and go into depth. I'm just going to give you the overall model here because I think it's important for you to understand. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this by any means. For the specific retargeting course, everything that you're learning in this course, you don't need the email marketing, but it literally helps a ton. So if remarketing 10x is your ROI, email marketing is going to 20x your ROI, obviously, and add that other 10. So it's really, really important to understand, and it's really great to add on here. So enough of me blabbering more about how much I love email marketing. Let's jump into it. So here's the landing page, obviously. Here's your pixel. Now, we already know that when people hit your landing page, they're going to collect into your pixel, thus sending them over here into your pixel data and collecting them so that you can use that pixel data like you set up when you run your AdWords campaigns, when you run your Facebook campaigns, okay? But when they also hit the landing page, they're automatically going to go into the pixel, but you have a chance to collect their email too. So me specifically, like I showed you before, here's an example of one of my landing pages that collects for my free dropshipping course. All right, so that's what that looks like. Now, when people come, now I'm gonna use the free dropshipping course because it's mine and it's a good example. I give away my free dropshipping course to people knowing full well that if I give people enough value, if I give them a free course, I actually give them the 2 free dropshipping courses. But if I give them a course, if I give them enough value, if I teach them how to make enough money online and teach them enough about marketing and teach them enough about e-commerce, that eventually it's the law of reciprocity. They're gonna want to potentially come back and pay for my services. I don't have to ask them necessarily for a sale. I know that if I give them enough value, they'll be more inclined to pay for my services, or they might think, oh, this Brian Garrett guy, he's a cool instructor, he's a good guy, he cares about me, I built that trust, that respect, and that rapport with them so that they're more inclined to want to purchase my stuff in the future. I don't necessarily have to ask for it but basically what I'm doing is giving them value first. It's that, like Gary Vee basically says, it's jab, 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 then cross. So that's basically what I'm doing here. But you want to collect their email, so I'm going to take you through the email sequence here in a nutshell, just give you the brief and a broad overview. So let's say hypothetically you were able to collect their email in exchange for whatever you gave them free. It doesn't have to be a free course, it can be a free guide. If you're doing real estate in Vancouver, for example, maybe you want to say the five most up and coming free guide to the 5 most up and coming areas in Vancouver you didn't know are going to be booming by 2020. I don't know that much about real estate, and I just use that random example of Vancouver, but it doesn't really matter. Take that and mold it to whatever you're doing. You could go back to the dog example, for example. Maybe you're dropshipping pet products. Maybe you want to give away the free, free guide to doubling your dog's life. Something like that. Anything. It could be anything here. It's the key here is simplicity, to collect the email, give them something that they want for free, give them value first, collect their email, then where their email is going to go is obviously the email is going to go in your email list. So in the future, you can market them more products in the future. Say you pivot and you switch and you stop selling, dog leashes, maybe you're selling dog food. You can pitch them the dog food product. You can send them through another email sequence. You can send them more emails. You can also send them to a different offer, a different page, anything. You're collecting their email to potentially stay in front of them, build that relationship with them in the future. If you have YouTube videos and you're still driving free traffic, you can drive them to your YouTube videos. Anything, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, collect them in your email list so that you continuously build that trust and respect and rapport and that relationship with your customer, and you're able to stay in front of them. That's important. More important for this specific model, though, you're not just going to collect them in the email list for the future. When they submit their email, they're going to go into your email list, obviously, but they're also going to go into your email auto response sequence. And this is something I'm going to go into a little bit more in depth in the next lecture. I'm going to give you an example of my email auto response sequence that I use for my free dropshipping course with some decent copy that basically gives them a bunch of value and then sells them on my overall product, which is my all course bundle in this specific example. So I believe that's an $89 product, eventually sends them through. It's like a 5 or 6. We're gonna jump into that in the next lecture a little bit more in depth. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna set this up ahead of time And obviously, like I said, I have an entire email marketing course, so I'm not going to give you the nuts and bolts and the step-by-step model, but just understand that if you set an email auto-response sequence up, an autoresponder up ahead of time, it's super simple. That way, every single time somebody submits their email, you have a chance to sell them 4 or 5 days into the future, depending on how long your email sequence is. So they're going to come to your just to recap, they're going to come to your landing page. They're going to be collected into your pixel so that you can use what I'm teaching you in this course to remarket to them in the future. They're also going to collect in your email list so that you can market them future products in the future, stay in front of them, and build that relationship with that customer into the years and maybe decades to come. Who knows? You're also going to send them through an email auto-response sequence to sell them on whatever you are selling, so that you might have multiple products. Maybe you're pitching them multiple products. The key isn't to send them through a sequence that says, buy this product, buy that product. If you don't want that product, let's buy this product. You're going to give them a bunch of value in your email sequence and then pitch them toward the end of that on one of your products. What that's basically going to do is law of reciprocity. You're going to give them value in a bunch of emails, then pitch them on a product, and then maybe give them a little bit more value, then pitch them on another product. And what that's going to do is, A, that's going to build the trust, the respect, and the rapport, because you're giving them a bunch of value and information that they're more inclined to want in that email sequence. But on top of that, you're also introducing them to your product so that maybe when you hit them with the retargeting ad from your pixel later, they already know what your product is, so they already know who you are, and you're out of that obscurity, as Grant Cardone would like to say. So it's really, really important to send them through an email marketing sequence or an auto response sequence if you can. Not necessary, but it really, really helps. So to give you an example of an email marketing sequence, and obviously I'm going to give you my entire one. One of my examples, I have a bunch of them, but one of my examples for my free dropshipping course that basically collects when people come to my website and submit their email for my free dropshipping course in the next lecture. But to give you an example, in the first auto response sequence, so they come down here into your auto response sequence, and right away, immediately, they get the free dropshipping course because that's what they submitted their email for, right? So the first one's the free dropshipping course, value. The second one, a day later, goes into their inbox, and maybe that's, basically saying, I forget what it exactly is, we're going to run through them here in the next lecture, but maybe you're giving them more value in some form or fashion related to dropshipping because you know that they came there for the dropshipping course, they're more inclined to want dropshipping. Then the third one might say, okay, you're into dropshipping, but did you know that you can 10x your dropshipping sales? And I think that's actually something like what mine is. I forget exactly what my sequence says, but did you know that you can 10x your dropshipping sales related to dropshipping with email marketing? You're completely introducing them to a new concept, kind of like I'm talking to here about, and basically saying, but if you don't know anything about email marketing, here's an entire playlist of videos that I've compiled on my YouTube channel that will introduce you to the concept of email marketing so you can make more sales with your dropshipping store. It's related to what they came to here first, very, very crucial, the dropshipping, but it's giving them more value in a different form or fashion. And the psychological reason behind that I'm doing is a little bit, I don't want to get too much into it, but basically giving them value. Then in the fourth email, I give them more value. You can pitch them at this point. You can pitch them at 3 if you want. Give them a little value first. And obviously your email auto response sequence can be 3 emails. It can be 5 emails. It can be 20 emails. Some people have 90 email auto response sequences. I like to keep mine kind of short, and then I'll remarket them with my email list back in the future and with my targeted ads. But just here, I like to give them a little value. So we're going to run through this here in the next lecture. Let's pretend I gave them a little bit more value related to dropshipping or online marketing or e-commerce here in the future, or how to make more sales with dropshipping. And then finally, in number 5, I pitch them the all-course bundle. I basically say, hey, and I'll show you an actual ad here in a second at the end of, I'll show you the ad, my remarketing ad too, in the next video too. Of what I actually do when I pitch them the all-course bundle, which is my all-course bundle. It basically gives them 40 courses for $80. I believe it's $80 or it might be $90. I forget what I actually sell for on my website, but it's a great deal for them. But I pitch them on my all-course bundle and basically say, listen, not everybody succeeds with dropshipping. If you don't succeed with dropshipping, that's okay. That's totally fine. It's not your fault. I teach over 100. I believe I'm teaching over 130,000 students here on Udemy, just here on Udemy right now. And all the people that succeed, they don't. And this is, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm giving you the example of what I'm selling them. It's 100% real. Is I'm basically telling them here in the 5th one, I'm pitching them and going for the sale. For the all bundle, basically saying, it's okay if you don't succeed with dropshipping. I teach 130,000 people and they all don't succeed with the same business model. If you don't succeed with dropshipping, guess what? There are 39 other potential courses that you could take and you could succeed with one of those. It's true, they get a bunch of courses for a great value, but more importantly, I have the opportunity to sell them too, and I'm introducing them to the all course bundle, which is what I'm thus going to I'm going to advertise to them when I remarket to them in the future with my Pixel, which is what you're going to do depending on whatever you're selling. So that's a little bit more in depth. I hope I didn't confuse you with that. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to ask me, but you can also rewind and watch this video again. It should you should be able to piece it together. But in the next lecture, I'm actually going to take you through my email auto-response sequence, and at the very end I'll show you the ad that I use, not just to sell them and drive them to the landing page, but I'm also going to show you the ad that I use with my remarketing on both YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. So hope you like this lecture. Let's jump into the email auto-response sequence and the ad so you get a good example.